Hey guys, so this is a tutorial video actually on how to install 30 Days Total War, the newest version 3.2, which is not really new, it's been out for ages. And then I'm going to try and show you on both platforms, so both Steam and Disk, because I own both. And then I'm going to show you guys how to hopefully install Divide and Conquer on one and the MOS or Massive Overhaul submod on the other. So to begin, I'm just going to quickly go through the Disk setup and some features for the disk, and then I'll go to the Steam, and then I'll go to DAC, and then MOS. So just before you start, if you have Medieval 2 Total War Kingdoms Gold, the disc, there are some things that you can do, that you need to do that can obviously help improve your just how the game will run through some unofficial patches that you might not be aware of, as well as a exe which you can have instead of using your actual CD. So the first couple of links I've got you here are actually patches and exe links. This is just for the disk users. Do not pay any attention to this if you are a Steam user. I will get to you guys eventually when I install it for myself on Steam, which I actually haven't done before. So anyway, if you have Medieval 2 Total War Kingdoms Gold, install that. Install all the Kingdoms expansions if you wish. You need to install at least one to have the actual 1.4 patch, which is released with Kingdoms. But after that, they also released a 1.5 patch, which was a patch for Kingdoms itself after it was released. So on this link here, you can basically download it. As you can see, I have the UK version, so it would be that one there. You just download it and you install it, easy peasy, and that's it. The second link I'm going to show you is to the no disk exe link. Now, if you have a Medieval 2 Total War Kingdoms Gold or not, you need to run it through a CD traditionally because it's quite old. But there are some fixes to that, including an exe. This one here is the one I'm using because now that you've updated to 1.5, you can just download this, replace it with your exe in your Kingdoms file. It should be in your preferred drive. Now, I'm using Windows 10, in case you haven't seen already. I've upgraded to Windows 10, and hence the reason why I uninstalled Kingdoms and reinstalled it. And on my one, it is in another disk file. It's in local disk F. No, it's not actually. What am I doing? It's in my main place. It's actually on C still. But it's not in Program Files 86. It is in another folder on its own outside of that called Medieval 2 Total War. Inside it, you'll see the Kingdoms application exe. So just replace that one there with the new one. This is the new one, as you can see. It's got a lower size. I think the original one was 25k kilobytes. So yeah, so there's that. Now we're gonna go on to the actual installation of Medieval 2. First of all, you'll want to go to Medieval Total War and the ModDB stage. I've got that link for you guys. I've got actually a whole page of links that I'm going to give you. So if you go there, you'll see what you need to download, and as you go down, you can read for yourself. You've got 30 Days Total War 3.0, which comes in 2 parts, and then you've got 3.2, as for some reason 3.1 contained a virus. I don't know how or why, but it contains a virus, so we will not be using that. Okay, so I've got this here. Part 1 of 2. I'm going to run it as administrator, as always, just in case. And we're going to wait to see if we can install this whenever it decides to let me. Funny enough, when I was downloading the 30 Days Total War, the first part was actually downloaded from GameStop or something. Gamefront, sorry. And it like didn't let me download from ModDB itself. Okay, so welcome to 30 Days Total War 3.0. Yes, yes, yes. No other Windows programs are running. That should be fine. Right, let's go into the next. Yep, as you can see here, it will run with patch 1.4, which is Kingdoms, by the way, just Kingdoms on its own. I have 1.5. That is what I upgraded to, actually. That was what I posted the first link to. That's the next patch, which is 1.5. So, let's see. Total War, yes, okay. I agree with the terms and conditions. As you can see, it's coming up here, which is wrong. So it needs to go into Medieval 2 Total War, which is Windows C. And as you can see, it just says, this is the original place. So if you just install Medieval 2 Total War Kingdoms on its own, on your main hard drive, that's what it'll look like. If not, then you need to change it. So there we go. And then we're going to hit next. And we're going to start installing. So I will cut this out and I will come back to you guys when I'm going to be installing the second part and the third part, just so you can see it. But it's pretty self-explanatory right now. Okay, so I'm back and I've installed all 3 parts. I did the exact same thing as the first part. You just do the same things for 2 and 3. So the second part of the installation and then the patch, you just install them in the same area and then you'll get this little icon and it will appear up here. So now it's time to show you the Steam installation. If you look carefully on my right side, you can see the Total War CD and Total War Steam. That's for the launchers for each one. And then on the CD version, I've got the 4 expansions just sitting by themselves. Because I just upgraded to Windows 10, I had to delete all my games off Steam and reinstall Steam. So that's why I don't have any games apart from Total War games currently. So to install the Third Age Total War on your Steam version, this is just for Steam users. CD users, you can go and skip to the next part, which will be the Divide and Conquer, where I'll show you where to install that. But on the Steam side to it, now, to access where you're going to install this, it's Steam, or whatever drive you have, to be honest. So I've got mine in J, so mine will be J, Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Medieval 2. And then you can see it's exactly the same. Including the expansions for kingdoms. So, as you can see, we're going to get this folder again. And you can see we're just going to go through it again. And we're going to install all 3 of these, just like we did the first time. However, there is a difference in the installation for Steam. A very slight change. So I'm going to show you guys that. I did test to check if Third Age Total War 3.2 worked when it first installed, so I'll do the same thing with this one as well. And I hit play and it did work, so I have no problems with that. Although if you guys are interested in looking into the problems that you can occur with, some crashes and some UAC and virtual storage issues, I will show you how to fix that eventually. I feel like a lot of people waffle on when they do these sort of installation guides, and they may not show you the most direct route. So I'm going to try and make sure I do that, because I think the last time I did it, it was a little bit more difficult. So we're going to install it again. As you can see, I agree. Of course I agree. And now we're going to change where we put it. So as I said before, it's not on local disk C this time. It's in J, or wherever you put your Steam. So in J, I've got A. Not J. F, sorry. I have Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Medieval 2, and there we go. Right there, Medieval 2, boom. There we go. That's everything you need. And then you just hit next and you install it again. So I'll come back to you guys in a second once I've installed that. Make sure it runs, and then we can get onto the second stage of making sure it's installed properly for your Steam version. Okay, so I'm back and this is installed now. As you can see, we're back to the Steam Apps Common Medieval 2 for Steam, wherever you have that. And if you look carefully in the mod section, you can see that Third Age is there. Now the second part, you need to actually do some tinkering with naming of the files and to get it to play. I actually have a Steam thing here. I don't even think that's needed. I'm going to get rid of that. So basically what you need to do is take one of the campaigns that you use the least. In fact, because I have the Steam, the disc version, I don't need to use any of these, so I could rename any of them. I'm going to rename the Teutonic because it's at the bottom and it's the easiest. So I'm going to call it Teutonic 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to rename Third Age Total War Teutonic. There we go. And that should be it. So now it thinks it's in the Teutonic folder. So now whenever we go to Steam, you need to do it this way because you need to right click on that where Medieval 2 Total War is, click on Teutonic, and if you watch carefully, hopefully the game should run. Hopefully you guys can see the game running. Perhaps, maybe. And here we go. There we go, game's running. Perfect. So that's that done. So now we have two different versions of Medieval 2 Third Age Total War installed on Medieval 2 for both Steam and for disk. And now we're going to go into the second stage, which will be to install the submods into each one to show you how they both work. Just so you know, you can swap them around, you can do it back and forth. You can have like MOS on the disk version and, you know, like DAC on the disk version. It doesn't matter which way you do it. I'm just showing you two different versions to show you how you'd install it into each one, Steam and the disk. So I'm going to install Divide and Conquer on the disk version. So let me see where my links are. So here we go. Divide and Conquer, the submod that I probably will be using for the next campaign. So if we bring this up, paste and go. As you can see here, Magovanen, and it will show you the installation guide. Download each part, run them as administrator. You shouldn't have to change the destination folder unless you have Steam where I've moved it, which I have. When part 2 asks about read-only files, click retry and it will work fine. Do not run the cleaner afterwards. Please disable Windows UAC. I'm going to show this afterwards. And that's it. So there's nothing else there. You need to download these parts for it. Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. And then you have to download the patch, which is 0.52. I've not done this before yet, so this will be a first time for me doing it as well. I feel it will be really easy. I'm just going to show where it is. You shouldn't have to change the destination folder. So we'll see where the destination folder is. And then okay, so as you can see, I've got all 4 parts downloaded, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to install the first part, just so you can see where I'm putting the location of it. And then after that, I'll install the rest of it, and then I'll see if it runs. And then I'll get back to you guys for the second part for MOS. So, right, we're going to run this as administrator, like the guy says. As you can see here, run them as administrator. Okay. Run as administrator. Let's see. This takes a while for some reason. I don't know why. It needs to, I think it needs to look at all the data before it can actually make a decision to go, oh, okay, and then open. So that takes a bit of time. There you go. There we go. Right. Okay. So yes, of course we accept. And now this is the bit I didn't read properly last time. Install information. Unless you have Steam or have moved it. If you are unsure, to find your Medieval 2 file location, follow this path, Medieval 2, mods, Third Age 3. Do not click on data. I repeat, as he repeats, do not click on data. The installer automatically lines up with this folder. So, let us just browse, because ours is not in Sega Medieval 2. It's sitting in its own folder outside of 86 for our disk installation. So it's in Medieval 2 Total War, it is in mods and Third Age, so we're going to do that, and it automatically lines up with the data, so we do not have to click that. We just click this and then we click next. Would you want to install to that folder anyway? You click yes, and then that's it, I think. Let's make sure. Let's double check to make sure. So Medieval 2 Third Age data. That's where it's going to go, and it's going to overwrite those files, hopefully. So that's that bit done, and I'll get back to you when all 4 parts are installed, and we'll double check to make sure it works, and then we can move on to MOS, which will be our final installation, and then we can double check any of the issues that you might run into. So, okay. Okay, so I'm back, and that's installed properly. I left it a little bit of time as well. I've taken some breaks in between just to tweak some things and do some other things. Yeah, so if you were to install that in the Medieval 2 for Steam, for instance, for Divide and Conquer, I'm just going to mention this quickly as well. It says here that, give me a second, it takes a while. Just want to make sure I go over this so you don't get confused if you're installing this on a Steam version. There'll be a different name that you need to put it into, because as you see here, as I go through it, it'll say Third Age 3. That's the folder it is. Whereas on Steam, you have actually changed the name of this folder now, so it will be as follows. Let's do this, shall we? Let's go back all the way. It is in F, Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Medieval 2, Mods, Teutonic. As you can see, that's where Teutonic is, or whichever one you changed it to, Crusades, British Isles, or Americas. It's completely up to where you put it in, but that's how you would install it if you were on Steam. Remember, it doesn't need to be Third Age 3, because you've changed the name of it. Okay, so yeah, let's exit the setup because we don't need to do that. Now that Divide and Conquer is out of the way, let's move on to MOS. Now, I took some time out because one of the problems I found was one of the final patches just would not download for me. So I'll show you how to install the actual MOS, but I can't show you how to install the final bit, which is, if I would go through, the enhanced MOS, because I don't know, whenever I download it, it just won't let me open that raw file. So I'll have to like either go back to it in a couple of days and see if I can do it. Although the same way you install the enhanced MOS is the same way you install the actual MOS version anyway. So if you wanted to do it, it would be really simple. It'd just be the same thing. So the download parts that I've got are part 1, part 2, and the all-exclusive patch 1 to 4, not including the Halberd patch, although I do have that somewhere, or did I delete it? You can see all the times that I tried to download that and it just did not work. Let's see, there we go. Did that put it back? Full version 1, 2, yeah, here we go. So, okay, so if you go and download those 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, and 4, you should have them here. I basically extracted it to see what the file would look like when it came out, and as you can see, it goes to MOS, there, it'll extract to Third Age 3, that's the first file it'll extract to. So, if you go back onto the page and you click on any of the parts, part 1 will go on because it's the most logical, and you click on that and you can see it tells you the instructions, and the reason why it tells you to do mods is because it has the Third Age folder after. So if you're doing that on the disk version, you install it into mods and it will just do it for you because it will install straight into Third Age 3, whereas on Steam, if you installed Third Age, it'll be slightly different. So I'm going to show you how to do that now, and hopefully it will be successful. I don't know, I hope. So right, we're going to extract the first part. So extract the files, and we're going to choose where our thing is. So it's in F, or wherever you put it, Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Medieval 2, Total War, and then we're going to go to Mods. Now, Teutonic, I actually want to rename that actually. So I'm just going to go back into my, let's see, File Explorer. This is the first day I've had Windows 10, so bear with me if some things are going a little bit awkward. Okay, yeah, there we go. And we're gonna go to local disk F, Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Medieval 2 Total War. We're going to go to Mods, and we're gonna rename this again. We're gonna rename this to Third Age 3. It needs to be identical to the way it was. So there we go, Third Age 3, and then we need to go back. Actually, we need to extract the files again. So extract. So just double click, double check, make sure that lines up. Third Age 3 to Third Age 3. Yeah, that's fine. Technically, if you were to install MOS, you would not change the name of your Third Age 3 folder until you've installed MOS. But because I did it to check to make sure it worked, you can just rename it again. So there we go. So you just take patch 1, we're going to extract files, and then we're going to find it again. So I won't say it this time because I just showed you there. So go. There we go. And then mods like that. So it goes in like that. Steam apps, common, Medieval 2 Total War, and mods. And you go okay. And then it goes confirm file replace. Just say yes to all. And it will do all of that. And it will take its time to process through. Now I'm going to do this for all of the 4 parts I have. And then we'll see what happens. Hopefully it will install properly. But if you have any problems with it, I'll try and figure out if there are any issues. But this is the most current version of both Divide and Conquer and MOS. Divide and Conquer is finished, it works, I can confirm everything works fine on Windows 10. I have had no problems with the UAC or Virtual Store, but it's because I take a lot of care with these sort of things in the meantime. So I'll show you what to do once these parts are done, with any issues you might have of crashes, just to complete the whole tutorial. And then I'll obviously piece it together so you guys can click on which part you want to see at which time in the description of the actual video itself. So anyway, I will leave you guys here until it's completely done, and then I'll come back to you to make sure it works, and then we'll move on to the next stage, which will be correcting any errors or looking for any crashes or any fixes that will be done. Most of the directions are actually in here, and they do tell you what to do, so there shouldn't be many problems. But anyway, I'll stop this here for the meantime, and then I'll come back in a minute. Okay, so that worked. Basically, once I extracted all the files into the same place I showed you in the first instance there, with the first patch, I renamed Teutonic back to Teutonic again from Third Age 3, and then I went back into, I first of all went into the folder and clicked the Third Age batch, which didn't actually work, because I remember seeing in here that you have to click it. Yeah, what file you use depends on which method you deployed. Clicking on this one here, as it says there, gives you the actual just Medieval 2 Total War, and this one here gives you, it's supposed to give you the MOS, but it wouldn't work for me for some reason. But when I came out of that and then right clicked here and pressed Teutonic, it worked. So that's it. But I have both the versions now. DAC and MOS are working. It's just a shame that I couldn't get the final bit for MOS to work, which is all it is another patch on top of this. So as soon as I can get it downloaded again somehow, and it's working, I'll put it on. And it's not like the game's not working at all. It's there. So you guys really should now, if you followed my steps. Of course, yours will be slightly different depending on what drives you have, locations. But if you understand what's going on, you shouldn't really have much problems with it. Now, there's a couple of things, I guess, which we can talk about. Your UAC and your virtual store, but you'll have to give me a minute as I'll need to find that stuff. So I'm going to cut this out again, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, welcome back to what should be the last part of this video. This is to explain what the UAC is and the virtual store. This is basically, it's quite an old link to it, but it really explains all of it. I've had problems with it in the past, and a lot of other people have had problems with it, but this should give you a rundown of how to fix it, hopefully, and it should fix all the other things. If you followed most of the video to your own retrospect and how you actually install a game, you really shouldn't have these problems, but you might have some things at the end which stop the game from running, or crashes that you have in between. Now remember, you might always get some crashes due to some stupid things, like I've had crashes due to Balrogs before, crashes due to ENTs. Sometimes these things can't be helped, and there's not actually a problem with your game, it's actually due to the scripts. But in many cases you can try and prevent that and fix it. So anyway, what is the UAC? Your user account control. From what I've read and watched, it's basically what controls and sort of moderates the files that you have on your computer and download. Really, it's there to protect your computer from malicious files or silly things that you do to it. But of course, in the case of Medieval 2, you don't want the user account control messing that up or stopping the scripts running, because it stops your game. And we all know that it's not a virus, it's not malicious, it doesn't have multiplayer as much anymore, it's just a game. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to delete your virtual store and then make sure your user account is going to be bypassed for Medieval 2. Total War. Medieval 2 Total War. Yeah, Total War. 30s Total War. So yeah, if we go off it and we go to our files, I will show you how to find where your virtual store is. Now, there are two ways of doing this. There is the faster, but you might not know this way, just off the top of your head. I learned this a long time ago from reading the forums. And number two is just how to find it from the start. So if you want to find your virtual store, you just click here. And no, Cortana, I don't want to speak to you. Please go away. Percentage app data. If you type that in, it should come up with a folder here. And it'll take you to this thing here. Just click on app data again, and you want to go to local. You want to go to virtual store. And you want to go to program files 86 and try and look for it. And you also want to look for the medieval 2 folder here, and if it's there, delete it. But as you can see, there's nothing here, so I don't have it. I don't have it at all. So it would look like in virtual store, and it would come up under program files 86. It's like Sega. If you just replace THQ with Sega, that's what it would come up with. So yeah, that's it really. That's how you get to it. If you want to know how to get to it from the actual start, if you come off, right, we're going to go through here again. We're going to go to our file explorer as it is here. You're going to click on your main drive C. You're going to go to users. You're going to go to your name or your whatever you've named yourself. My name is Ibrahim. I'm going to click on that. Now, as you can see, app data is actually a little bit clear. And the reason is it's actually a hidden folder. So I'll leave a link in the description of if you've got Windows 7 or 8 to show your hidden folders. But on Windows 10, it's as easy as you go to View and you go to Options, I believe, and then you go to View, and then you go to Files and Folders, and you go to which one it is? Show hidden folders and drives. But this is for Windows 10. It looks the same actually on Windows 7 when you get to this point. But the link in the description will show you how to get there, because I don't have Windows 7 anymore. So anyway, you click on app data and that takes us back to here, local, and then you can find where it should be. If it was in Steam, for instance, let's see if we can find the Steam one, just in case it's here. There is Steam somewhere. Here it is. No, it's not here. So there's no virtual store right now for my Third Age, and it's because I have control probably of it. Now the next thing is to prevent getting a virtual store, so you don't have problems like this in the future with scripts running and crashes. And to do that, you really just need to modify the files to make sure that the computer doesn't want to check them or block them. So we're really going to go to where we've installed our programs now. So we've installed Medieval 2 here. So if you right click it and you go to Properties, you go to Security, and you go down to your users. Now I actually don't have all of the permissions for it, and I should do. So you need to edit that, and you need to go full control, and then as you can see, that's everything here. Oh, not for authenticated users. For your user at the bottom. Once you've done that, click Apply, and it will take a long time to get that through, because it's going to do the same thing for all the files. It's going to make sure that they're all checked and they're never going to have any of these problems. So, oh, it didn't take so long. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to find where we've put it on our Steam version. So if you go to local disk F, Steam, you go to Steam apps. I never want to do this again because it's so long. Medieval 2 Total War. As you can see here, we can just right click that. Properties, Security, go there. As you can see, I already have all the access this time, so I don't need to change it, but there we go. Once you click that, hit apply as you did there, and you've seen how long it took for my computer, so it might not take you that long, in fact. That should be it, and that would be it done. Apart from that, I don't know what else I can really do to say it. If you've got any more issues with it, it might just be small bits with the script here or there, or if it's something more of a big issue, then you definitely know that you need to do something with your installation. I did have problems with like crashes before, like even starting the game I would have problems. I would have to click on it a couple of times. But reports from the people who make the mods have said that most of it's quite positive, so you shouldn't be running into these big problems anymore, and if you are, then you've done something wrong. You can comment on this to ask what you could do to help it, and you can try and explain, and I'll try my best to reply. I can't do it all the time, but I'm sure there'll be other people, hopefully, who can do that for you on my channel who've done it. But anyway, as you know now, I've installed a Steam version and a disk version, and you can do one or the other. You can't have two mods on the same location. It has to be different. But that doesn't mean to say that you can't have two different disks if you've got two different drives. For instance, I've got another SSD drive. I could put another disk version on that if I wanted just Third Age 3.2 on its own. So I would have Vanilla Third Age, I would have Divide and Conquer, and MOS. I could have all three, but I don't need to do that at the moment, so I'm not going to waste space doing that. But anyway, I will post this in the description. This tells you basically everything I just did in more detail. And that's about it. So as you can see, now we have Third Age here. I'll just leave that over here actually. That will run my Divide and Conquer. And then if I go into Steam and hit that and hit Teutonic, it will play MOS, which is not the full MOS because it didn't install properly. But, well, it did install properly. It didn't install the full thing because I'm missing that final patch. But anyway, that's everything there. So I'll put every link in the description. If you've got anything more, just say. This took a lot of time to do and a lot of effort, actually, a lot of tinkering, just to make sure everything was working. I don't think anyone has actually attempted to put and show you to put both Third Age 2 on Steam and disc in the same video and then actually put mods on top of it. So if you could give us a like, it would be much appreciated. Comment as much as you want if you're having issues. Share it around. And I hope I've been helpful to you in the long run. So yeah, thank you guys. Make sure you pay attention to some of my ongoing Let's Plays with Dwarves of Khazad-dûm and then Shadow of Mirkwood. They're both finishing rather soon. One of them already has finished. And then I'll be moving on later. So thank you guys for watching, and that is me signing off for now.